This is the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Dr. Meleeka has a background as a clinical psychologist, actress, director, model, and human rights activist. The Dr. Meleeka Clary Show will help move you towards bettering the quality of your life with positive psychology. So please welcome your host, Dr. Meleeka Clary.
Welcome to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on Bold and Brave TV Network, where we're coming live on the Bold and Brave TV Network. Thank you, my friends, for joining in. I'm so glad that God gave me another day to just say that too. So I'm so happy. Today we have a wonderful guest. When I tell you this person does it all. I mean, he is an entrepreneur. He is a spiritual believer. He is I don't even have words. He does everything. There's nothing this individual cannot do. He is from hip hop real estate. And I mean, when I say hip hop real estate, it's more than just that. He interviews so many celebrities, but besides that, he's into real estate. He does it all. I mean, I'm just so happy that he took this interview. But because my show is based on psychology, one thing that I love the most about this individual is he brings something positive psychology. His testimony, his stories is just amazing. And I just couldn't wait to bring him on the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. So as I introduce him and I bring him on, I'm so blessed to have him. So I hope you just enjoy today's show. So I'm going to welcome Carrie Andre to Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Welcome, my friend.
Well, you've been doing your homework, and
Thank you.
I definitely appreciate the time. This time is the moment, but I praise God first and foremost. So
Yes.
I'll go with that one first. But you did your
Yeah.
homework.
I do. I try to. That's the thing. I have to know about people that I'm going to interview. And I think that you are so amazing. I've watched so many things and listened to segments and how you just interview a lot of people. But before I even go into all that good stuff, everything's good because I love it. I'm your fan. I'm a fan of yours. Before I do that, I have some questions to ask of you because one thing about my show, it's all about positive psychology. And I want to know, even though I know you're hip hop real estate, I know you're an entrepreneur, I know you're a spiritual believer, but I know these things. But I want to know, who are you to you? I want to know that because that's something that people don't understand. They have all these hats, but then when you sit down, they don't know who they are. I want to know who you are.
Wow, that's a good one. Well, first of all, I'm a God-fearing man. First of all,
Yes.
um, husband at one point. We're gonna go into that later. Um, Family man. Took care of my kids after my wife passed away. Um, and where we grew up in Boston City or Boston, it's the hard streets of Boston. At that
Mhm.
time, living in Winter Park, the Grove Hall, and to Mattapan and Cadman Homes, the whole nine, those feel of it. And grew up in
Mhm.
that era. That era, you had to be a straight up hustler.
Yeah. And what do that mean when you say straight up hustler? I mean, because I'm from Mattapan, we from Boston. Boston's in the house. I am gonna go ahead and say that Boston's in the
Mhm,
house, okay?
mhm.
Because I'm from one of that era, Mattapan.
Right.
Hello. So I have to mention that because it is hard when you grow
Mhm.
up in an environment that you have to struggle. How was that struggle for you? Because you've done so wonderfully. I mean, look at you. I mean, you're doing things, you've done things, but you've had this struggle and you still, was able to achieve. How's that struggle? What's that hustling mean? I mean, how do
I,
you get through
I,
that?
I look back, back in that era that we talked about. I mean, I can go back and statute of limitations is going by now.
Go for it. Go for
And
it.
just looking back that era, we didn't have the things these kids have now. So easy access to the computer, easy access to make money with all the apps and people actually making it. We didn't have that, even though they talked about it in high school. But at that era, I was in the streets. Even though I was on a good notion, I think it's called balance. I had balance in my life, where even though I was from the streets, born in the streets, but I didn't always in the streets. And I had friends that did both, but I was still involved in the community. I was still involved where my grandmother would tell me, if you do bad things, you're going to be in a bum. If you do this, you're going to this is where your life going to go. So I had a balance with her. I couldn't put a towel over her head and her being blind to because she wasn't about that. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I had to distinguish the difference of where I want to go, my life wanted to go, because I lost a lot of friends in the streets that either we got locked up or they died. I mean, fortunately, the part that I almost went that way, and I could have ended up that way than anyone else. So I
Mm-hmm.
was holding myself, never thought I was better than anyone else. I just said to myself, well, God put his hands on me, and I
Right.
was still going to church. I was still paid up. So I had to balance myself which way I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm. You know
And I
what? And you go ahead. You mentioned something about that. I just didn't want to lose that thought when you said balance, and you said, you mentioned, was did you say your grandmother?
Yeah, yeah. My grandmother raised me, my mother raised me, my wife raised me, now my kids trying to raise me.
Okay, okay. So you had some very positive people around you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, who at that time, since it still was a struggle of trying to get somewhere, and especially in an environment
I think
that
it's it,
is
it,
with less.
it's still a struggle. I still struggle. I think I struggle more with our own culture, my own culture. To be real with you, I
Okay.
said I
Mhm.
have struggling for that for a minute because I want to an example that I can change my life, and so can you. And I have two brothers that went in and out of in and out of jail basically. I mean, lived the same life that I could end up because I was the big brother, but I
Okay.
chose not to live
Ye-
that.
Yes, and you know what? I want to continue with that, but we're going to take a brief break.
Okay.
Um, we are going to come back with Carrie on Dr. Meleeka Clary show on the Bold and Brave Network. We'll be right back, friends.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Dr. Meleeka Clary show on the Bold and Brave Network. I am so glad we are reconvened here. And I want to continue with my special guest, Carrie Andre from Hip Hop Real Estate. He was getting in it before we even left the scene. He was telling me about the struggle, the struggle, the struggle, the struggle. And I need to know because there's so many people out there that is in your shoes right now and trying to feel like, how do you get out? How do you get to a place like Carrie? So before you left, you was talking about the struggle, and I kind of also want to know, who is those positive people around you? Like, you have any role models that carried you on the way too?
You asked me that question now.
Yes, I gotta ask you that question. I want to hear it. I
Yeah.
gotta hear it.
You're gonna find this kind of weird, but you know what?
No. Mm-mm.
When I was in the drug game, the pimp game, I did all that. I tried to hustle in any fashion way to get that money. And I think, believe it or not, I dealt with a lot of fiends. I dealt with a lot of hookers. Excuse my French. I dealt with a lot of pimps. I dealt with a lot of crackheads. I dealt with a lot of dope fiends. They would, believe it or not, I had different type of mentors, and they were my mentors too. Cause they kept me out of trouble. I took care of them. They took care of me, and I didn't judge them. Whatever they was going through,
Yeah.
whatever they went through, you know, even though I served and at the time probably thought was wrong, but somebody they was gonna give it to somebody, they was gonna give it to me. And at that time, that's my mentality was. So there was
Okay.
some of my mentors. But then, I would as a young kid, I was around, and my tree had balance. So I had a whole bunch of people, elected officials. I
Hmm.
had Old, the senior. He was a state senator. I had Gloria Fox. Do you remember Gloria Fox? So I was a kid at 12 years old. I was still at the state house.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. So my biggest mentor was God. My biggest
There you
mentor was
go.
me. My biggest mentor was my grandmother.
There you
Biggest
go.
mentor was my mother and my wife.
Mhm.
But I had the other mentors in the street. So I had gangbangers. Because I had good character with people. I wasn't around a whole bunch of people, but I treated people how they treated me. And there was this situation where if you treat people how they want to be treated, treat them like
Mhm.
it's more or less like this. I'm harmless. I'm
Mhm.
harmless. I was
There. Mhm.
even the people that might have robbed me or tried to rob me, I was still like positive even with them.
Mhm. I
And I
hear
was
you on that. Mhm.
so I knew how to even though what situation I was in, I always looked at them. They even when I had got robbed one day, I know I was angry at them, but I was more angry at myself being in that predicament at that time. But I always kept it positive because I knew why they was doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always keep positive. So God had his
Mhm.
hand on me. So I would say God was Jesus my biggest mentor, period, than
There you
anybody.
go. There you go. And that's interesting that you say that, because that is, I believe God carries you. He's going
Mhm.
to carry you, but you got to see some things.
Yeah,
But
yeah, you do.
it makes you more of a warrior, I
Hmm.
believe. You know what I mean? If you have it easy, you may think it's always easy. So it's not. And the individuals that you mentioned, at the end of the day, they're still human beings. Everybody makes they decide to do this, and maybe later they decide not to do that. That's still human beings. They
Wait,
may
wait.
felt that was their struggle, but since you looked up to them, they probably was looking after you too, and
Yeah,
trying
actually,
to say, hey, little cat, you don't need to do this.
right.
You know what I
I
mean?
had a couple of guys that will always pull me to the side, and OGs, triple OGs
There
will
you
pull me to
go.
the side and help me.
Wisdom.
So even when I
Hmm.
was out there doing my dirt, I always just professional. No matter what I had on, I still just professional.
There
And
you go.
I treated people with dignity still, and regardless of what they might have been going through. So, and like I said, it was a whole bunch of people, but I think the ultimate was God had his hand on me. And the biggest thing with me that I tell people, if God what I was doing, I was still praying,
That's right.
and I still have faith.
That's right. Because you believe he could carry you from anything,
Yeah,
and he
yeah, yeah.
stayed with you.
Actually
Hmm.
could, and that's where my faith was not with God. Period. And I
Yes.
speak this every day.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because let me ask you a question. In your life, have you ever was challenged that you had to really be strong in your life?
I
Because
think.
I asked that question, and I know I asked that question because there is people that's in the entertainment industry, or they're just average folks, and they go through things. But the
Mm-hmm.
struggle is to get back up and still
Yeah,
continue the
and
journey. And I need
think
to know, have you
that,
ever been tested like that?
yeah, I think without getting all teared up.
I get it. I understand.
Uh,
I understand.
I'll be strong with this one because I had to be strong. When my wife died,
Okay.
I had to face the reality that she wasn't coming back,
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
had to deal with my daughter's
Mhm.
emotions. I
Yeah.
had to cut my emotions off, be
Yeah.
strong for them.
Mhm.
That was the biggest challenge in my life. Like, how am I gonna do this, God, by myself? Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one ever asked me that question. But losing your grandmother, your mother, and your wife, I thought I was gonna be strong because when they passed, I never knew I had emotions. But when my wife passed away, I got a double of what I got from my mother, my grandmother. But
Wow.
I didn't even I don't know how I was gonna make it. If I think about it,
Wow.
had my kids, if I didn't have my kids, I would have left my wife easily. But God knew I had to be strongest of the strong. I
That's
didn't have
right.
no emotions. And
That's
I didn't
right.
tell people for a long time what my wife was dealing with. I didn't tell them.
Yeah.
I ain't even told them. I think I might have told one person when we was in I think we was in Philly. I was with
Mhm.
Ralph Chester and we was kicking and talking. And I know his mom passed away from cancer, and then that hit me because I knew what my wife was going through, and I
Yeah.
told him what I ain't told nobody. I was keeping it quiet before she had passed, and I had told him that we was going through. I was going through. He was going through. We both were sitting there just like teared up because he went through it
Wow.
first. So
Wow.
I think that I got better in time, but I still have my days.
Yeah.
Those I struggle with every day. Just dealing with my kids now, and I put both of them through college. Um,
Wow. Get out. God is good.
yeah, yeah, and they still go
Wow.
through stuff they go through, but I'm here. I've been here. My kids and my grandkids are the most important thing to me, regardless of what I do outside of the household or in the community. They're my biggest everything for me. You mean?
All right. And on that note, oh my goodness, thank you for sharing that. We are going to take a brief commercial. We will be right back with Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network, my friends.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Thank you, friends, for joining us back. My guest is Carrie from Hip Hop Real Estate. She is just sharing all the insights. And right now, before we left, we was talking about just mentors and struggles and challenges to get back on your feet to continue your mission. And as we were leaving, Carrie, you was talking about, just moving on and taking care of your children, and was able to see them be successful. And you're still doing that because you have grandchildren too.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we were talking about that. And you know what? That's amazing. But you said something that really registered with me. God was always there for you.
I was his hands on me.
And that's the lovely thing about this, because one thing people don't understand, they think that no one else goes through what they're going through. We're human beings. We bleed, we cry, we mourn, we grieve. And so, but when you set a goal for yourself, it's so hard to just get back and go back on, continue that goal, because that goal doesn't look important anymore. But it still has to, because we're still here, and God is
Mhm.
still with you. So you got to finish your mission. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And that's one thing I love about what you're saying, because you have so much, and I have to talk about this hip hop real estate. And what I saw is that you interview a lot of celebrities. So you've been gifted in that way. I mean, you've been on the red carpet. I have not even did that yet. God, please hear me, because I want that. You know what I mean? So you've done all this. You've done that. You've spoken to so many people that I can't even imagine to. And what's so interesting is your line of questions. Like, positive, what they're doing for their community, what are they doing to give back, or anything. So can you elaborate, like, how did you go about that? I mean, what was going through your mind to do this type of stuff?
Well, to be honest with you, it started at my church, really. But me and my pastor, a couple of people that was in the church, they had a meeting in the back room, and they pastor talked about the three E's. Wallace Brown out of Boston. He talked about the encouragement, empower, and education. The three E's. The four E's. I said, how can I, brother from the projects, who used to be in the streets, did all of such and such? How can I be a positive influence to these young men and women out here? How can I get back knowing what I know? And the three E's. So now I had to figure, okay, how can I like hip hop, go up on hip hop. How can I get more kids involved and to know about the real culture of hip hop, with its
Okay.
peace, unity, um, having love and having fun. That's beside the DJing, the b-boying, the rapping, and so on, so on. So them are some of the elements of hip hop. I wanted to take that portion of it. Hip hop real estate is first of all is my nonprofit organization, 501c,
Yes.
funded by my real estate company. So people say hip hop, is that your company, or what's that? Tell them it's a nonprofit 501c, uh, a purpose to, like I said, like I told Stephen Hill a while back ago. We have a platform that we developed to give back with a purpose and to change the
Wow.
minds of the young people, change the
Yeah.
minds of business, real estate, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, blah blah blah, through media, arts, and entertainment.
All right. All right. Yes, that sounds amazing. Why? How is that working? I mean, like, are you seeing what you want to see? Are you seeing your vision? Because I
Well,
like.
it's funny you say that. When I first started doing interviews, my first interview was with African Bada. I said to myself, "You know what? If I'm going to have something called hip hop, I'm going right to New York."
Okay.
I said I went to New York first to get the
Hmm.
green light. So I got to interview so many living legends of the past on hip hop real estate. Everything was positive, everything. And from there, it just took off. And I met other people and other people and other people. But then I met Chuck D, Flavor Flav. I done ran into LL Cool J. I ran into so many other people in the culture. Before anybody started doing their little podcast, I was all out there running. And at the same time, my wife was fighting cancer. So I needed an outlet. What she was going through, I
Yeah.
was still feeling it because her, just to see her change and see what she was going through at the time, going to dating father, going to every
Yeah.
time she appointment I had to be there. And then sometimes she didn't want me to go, and then sometimes I went anyway. Regardless, so I had to see what she was dealing with. So I had to have another outlet. She was cool with it. She was real like, baby, go ahead, do what you got to go do. I understand what you're going through. Dealing with, see what I'm going through. I want you to be happy regardless. So she allowed me, like I spoke at the funeral, she allowed me to do so. That's how giving she was to make sure I was okay. So I met a
Wow.
lot of people in the industry and I'm still to this day. I think that once you realize what you can do, now you take that and you plant the seed in every young adult that wants to learn about media, broadcast, and communication, and that's what I've done. I took it to another level where I want to get the kids involved because I see how when I interview African Bada or Chuck D or Flavor Flav, these are my era. Ran into DMC
Mm-hmm.
and Reverend Run tweeted what I was doing at that time, and I was like, "Oh, this guy, I'm getting from." They started to know who I am. So Rick Ross, and some of the other people in the industry that I can mention, oh man, well, I still get mad about this point where Diddy told this other cameraman to take the camera off. I was the only one in Georgia at the BET Award. I think it was 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and at I forget the name of the club, and a whole bunch of media guys in there. I was the only one with the microphone before he even had remote TV. But I had nobody
Yeah.
with me, so I couldn't do both. But I should have did the same thing I did to Walker and had Walker hold the microphone, let him do his thing. I should get the microphone to Diddy. Then it'd have been a rap. So anyway, I think it's bottom line. You live and learn, but as long as you keep on, keep going on, you never fail until you quit. Failure
Wow.
is more or less. I
On
said you never fail. I said you learn. You
on
learn from.
that, yeah, you know what? I love it. On that note, we're gonna take a brief commercial. We will be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Welcome. Come on, friends. We'll be right back.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant. Like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Welcome back, my friends. We are still with our guest, Kerry from Hip Hop Real Estate, and he was just explaining to us before we left what kind of interviews and the kind of people that he ran into that are celebrities and what was their mission and what they were saying. And he has some favorite ones. Kerry, please tell me, when you interviewed all these different celebrities, was there like maybe 2, 3 that just stayed with you that was so motivating to you or captivating that was like, wow, okay, this is awesome about this individual? Can you enlighten me about that? Maybe
Oh,
some.
man, first of all, so many of them. There's so many
Okay.
of them that I would, because the interviewer has to start the conversation up anyway. So if he's coming off positive, with the other person going to engage and speak positive. It's interaction with the person. You come off negative, they're going to come off da 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 da. So it all depends on who you're interviewing. But I think with me, what sticks out with me, I think it's family, and I think what some of them go through or
Yeah.
have been through. and that it sparks me up because I look at that. Well, they went through. I went through either the same thing or wow. I go, whoa. I wasn't expecting that much. So it's so many of them. But I think um, the um, he's on my wall. Matter of fact, um,
Which
I
one
was
is that, please? What on the wall? I
yeah, my
see.
Hall of Fame wall behind me. There's so many up there. But
Oh,
I think before I forget that, Wyclef, he's on my wall too, so further down some. Wyclef,
Wycliffe.
yeah, Wyclef
Oh
was
my
what
God, I love his music.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean, he talked about that he lived in a hut, and where he lived at. See, I looked at wow, you lived in a hut. You lived in he had a bad one point. So I listened to his story. That was kind of hit me over the head. I also too, um, Bobby Brown. I interviewed
Bobby
him a couple of times.
Brown.
Yeah, yeah, Brown. Yeah, yeah.
Now you
He's one of
say
my.
Bobby Brown. I have to say something about that because you grew up in Boston.
What's
Now,
your
didn't
father?
you yeah, so,
Yeah,
you grew up with New Edition as well,
yeah,
as
of
I
course.
did my
Yeah,
research.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
I have to say
You know,
that because yes, so how was that too?
that was great. I was feeling like I was the only one, when they got to receive the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I was the only media outlet out there. I'm like, where everybody else at? What's going on? And it was crazy. I went from New York to L.A., but his interview, the first one, second one, and the third one I did with him, that kind of like did it for me. That one, he was inspirational, and he still kept it humble. Like, wow, regardless what he was going through.
Yeah.
Ralph Tresvant, my good friend Mike Bivens. Mike Bivens always been doing community stuff in Boston, so his
Yes,
input,
yes.
showing me love and me interviewing him about where he came from, where we come from.
Mhm.
Um, him getting the basketball court in his name and still living. Listen, this
Yep.
time I'd be on the bus with all of them, right? On the tour bus. Well, especially my wife passed away, and I remember Mike called me up, Ralph called me up. Bobby was going through because my wife passed away on his daughter's birthday. Ronnie showed me love. All of them really showed me mad love. And here I am talking to these. I can call him up, talk with him. I'm like, God's so good to me.
There you go.
Give
Yes,
God, I give God praise so much. But
yes.
these guys inspired me. It was my first out of Boston. Gave me a exclusive interview. But Russell Simmons, he said a lot of good.
Wow.
Russell Simmons, he was a good one. It's so many. Like it's so. Oh, Cardi B. Cardi B's right behind
Mhm.
me. She gave me a good one. She wanted to buy her mom's a house. Just what she went through. If I say one that might stand out, it's so many of them.
Mhm.
But I think with me is the young kids I get them that came on to
Yeah,
hip hop that one that do the interviews now, giving them a microphone and let them do their thing. I think that's the key of regardless of who you interview, how do you plant that seed and somebody else to take over and let them
that's
do
right.
see what they do with it. And Tyler Braun, she started from with me at 17. Now
Mhm.
she's on networks and movies and been on MTV. And then I interviewed her. She basically gave me the credit. She said it wasn't just about media, but I used you for all the outlets you put me in front of.
That's right. That's right.
And that's the key, planting the seed I always take the off of me.
Yeah,
I always take the credit off of me and give it to God. Um, we all here for a reason.
that's right.
And once we get to where we got to go and you plant the seed in every some other child, and I'm so blessed to see some of these young kids that started with me. Now they just go off to another level.
That's
Um,
right.
Tyler Braun, Brianni Walker, which is 15 years old. She done been in billions of views, and
Wow.
and
Wow.
the microphone and stuff we do. 'Cause eventually,
Mhm.
Dr. Meleeka Clary, continue to grow and to be successful. What you do, you
Thank
run
you.
young girl, some young boy that want to do the same thing, and how do they start?
Thank you. Yes, you know what? You said something about that. And then I've taught college too. I was a college professor for about
Mhm.
15 years of my life. And one thing I did is I always incorporated, acting. So when I give a project out and I said, hey, you got to do this, and they say, well, it's domestic violence because criminal justice is what I used to teach. And I would say, well, you can go and interview people or somebody who went through something. And they
Stop.
said, what?
Right.
I could do that? And I was like, yes, go ahead. You can role play,
And,
and that was, it made
that's
it
how you
amazing.
and that's how you learn too. Robin, Robin, I forget her name. She was 17 years old.
It was amazing. It was
And
amazing feeling for them.
she's 17 years old. She got a. We went to the in New Orleans the fest, and gave her the microphone camera. We interviewed Neo, interviewed
Wow.
too many celebrities that was there, and and movie stars. She got to do all that. And she still give me credit to this day. It says it's not about me. I want you to feel how I felt when I first started. So
That's
she just
right.
did an excellent job. And like I say, you get a young child, a microphone filming. I have a lot of youth behind me too. They're kind of right there
Yep.
out of both. I was like 30 deep. And you give them the
Wow.
young adults, the kids, the equipment, the filming, all that, let them see themselves do their thing. They take that and they learn from that because you teach them, and because they got to learn. And
That's right.
who they interviewing? The celebrities, the people in the community. So they educating the young kids. They interviewing with them.
That's right.
That's a blessing.
Wow. That
Hey,
is a blessing. That is a blessing. And you know what? We're going to take a brief commercial and we're going to come back and talk about that. Thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave Network. We'll be right back, my friends. Wow.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense Radio Show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. Rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies. Find settings that allow them to be the most productive and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back, my friends. Thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Before we left, we was talking to Kerry from the Hip Hop Real Estate, and he was just telling me about all the people he had interviewed, celebrities, and what they had to say. And then some people he just been mentored and saw them bloom like flowers and just go at it. And it's just amazing to hear that. But one thing I want to ask you, Kerry, is that all these people that you interviewed, you realize that, and people watching may think that they're set aside from an average person, but I believe that everybody is human, of course, and they have their own issues. But the people that you interviewed, did you feel that they were any different, but just going after their goal and being, holding dominions just to go at it? You know what I mean? Did they do something extra?
Um, anyone that's anybody that you see on film, that you see in TV, that you even look up to, every one of those gentlemen or females, they had a struggle. They no
That's
different
right.
from any other. They're no different from me or you at all. They're human. They're human. We were born and we're gonna die. When we die, we go away with nothing. But a legacy is seed that you plant before you leave to make the world even better. So no, they're no difference what they do with their lives. You know what I mean? And I think everyone that's anyone, they always want to make a difference. Last
Yeah.
person I interviewed Ti out of Atlanta, and Dr. Kevin James. He was the president of Morrissey Brown College. And this young man that wanted to make a difference. And I remember I seen Ti on Instagram. Watch this here. So they was on Instagram about to do their thing. So I said, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
sure, let me go down to the school because I got a relationship with Dr. Kevin James."
Oh,
And so let me run down there. So when I was driving, I prayed, God, please let me finally interview Ti because he knows me already. Let me just pray on this prayer, Lord Father God.
oh
Let me put
yes.
him in. And I went through my prayer and I said, and I don't know what was going to happen, but I had faith enough to get there. Got there, parked my car, went up there, and his publicist said, "Okay, who are you?" and blah blah blah. So I had his kid hold the thing for me. Hold, give a second. We're gonna give a second.
Yeah.
So they're at the college and they said, my turn. I said, Carry hip hop with us. It's going down here right now. We have Morrissey Brown College, and I'm here with T.I. and Dr. Peter James. This young man want to give tablets, man, to give back to some of these students. And it was like, T.I. like, he see the energy. And Dr. Peter, we all know how to get down. So he was like, okay, we going at it. So I got all three of them and through three questions where the school
Mhm.
was going, with Morrissey Brown College, what was TI's impact on this young man that's giving out the tablets for the young students, and just have all of them three, all four of us just sitting there chopping it up. It was good. It was real good.
Wow. Oh
But
wow.
I thank God for that to make that happen.
That's right.
Positive energy, you get positive energy back.
That's right. Wow.
Another thing to keep in mind, I don't never want to interview people about something negative they did. I don't judge people.
That's right. That's right.
Regardless of what they did, I don't go interview them about their habits or where they've been. Or, well, it
Right.
depends how open they are to it. But when you're interviewing someone, you always want to make sure you always come out positive first. If they want to open up to you, if you make them feel comfortable, then that's what
That's right.
they say, okay, I got something I mentioned to you, Kerry, that I want you to know. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's right. And that's okay because evidently some people identified their flaws and say, hey, that was what happened at that time. But that
yeah, you got
doesn't
to make them feel comfortable.
define who I am right
Mhm,
now.
mhm,
Because
mhm.
people don't understand that you can change. You could do anything you want to do. You can wake up in the morning and say, hey, I'm going to open this window. Normally, I don't. It's your decision. You don't get
Yeah.
it. That's what people don't understand. They think that they can't. They're stuck. So when you hear people say, they've been through something, it's because they're gonna they when they open up to you, it's because they're letting you know that they're human. They make mistakes. I've been there, done that. Here I am now.
And
There's a difference.
also too, you keep in mind when you interview people, you want to give a good notion that when you leave the interviewer is happy enough because your word, what you say, will pass on. And people say, "Oh, interview Dr. Meleeka Clary. She's good at what she does. She's very positive," and that'll pass on. Because if I say something negative about somebody in the interview, they don't like me. They're gonna tell the next entertainer, the next person,
Yeah.
that your word will be doo doo.
Thank you. Yes, you need. That's a nice way to say it. No one wants, I know, you really don't want, you want to be able to tell your story. And that's
Mhm.
what I look at. I look at it that way. If somebody's going to interview somebody, you want to be the one to tell the story. If you want to know something, I'll tell you if I want to tell you, and that's good. But my thing is to know something that people can change from, or look at that as like, hey, this person did this. If they could do it, I could change. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And because everybody needs something. I mean, it's always that positive right now because mental illness is so big right now. I mean, it's huge, and it's huge in the community of entertainment. It's huge in any other industry. I mean, you can be a computer scientist, you can be engineer, a professor, a teacher, a mom, a dad. It doesn't matter. It's there. And what I need to help people to understand is how to come out of that. If you fall, you can get back up.
True.
You know what I mean? You can get back up because these are individuals that have fell. There's some people that have went through trials and tribulations in their life, and they got back up. And we all need to do that. But I think what it is sometimes we're not letting people know. I mean, you remember when we were doing the pandemic, everybody went on curfew. And I won't highlight anything else, but everybody was on curfew, and that means celebrities too. Everybody
Anyway,
was on curfew. See,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
became real. That
Hmm.
became real. And I have to say that to people because that was real. And because of that, and on that note, I'm going to have to take a brief commercial, but we will be right back on the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network, my friends. Be right back. You tune in.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense Radio Show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBN Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Before we left off, we were still with our guest, Carrie from Hip Hop Real Estate. Carrie, I know we was talking about COVID and everybody's the same. I really want to just go ahead and, since this is our last couple of minutes here, I want to highlight on some things because, you've been on that red carpet. You've interviewed the most of the most of the most. But what you really do here is I want to know what you are doing now. I mean, this Hip Hop Real Estate, and that's a nonprofit organization, but then you also do other things that has to do with real estate. Can you please enlighten me? And how do we find you? I mean, let the people know. How do we find you?
Well, I think I'm very passionate about sharing people's truth in the culture itself. And then the real estate funds my nonprofit organization. So as my wife passed away, I was in New York a lot. So I got my license in New York. Since Boston, Rhode Island is close, I got my license in Rhode Island.
Oh,
So I
wow.
wanted to make a move down to Atlanta, and I did make that move, and I got my broker license down in Atlanta. So now I'm a broker in 4 states, working number 5. But I don't want to say I got that yet until I get the license when I pass that
Okay.
test. But
All right.
see, if you see me in L.A., Boston, New York, Rhode Island, or you see me hanging in Miami, or you see me in Houston, you see me anywhere in the state or even another country, because you never know where you're gonna find me at next. I could be your city, your state, your street, and even your hood.
That's
Selling
right.
people, and you got young kids doing the whole 9. But like I said, I fund it. So how I get paid? Real estate transactions. So I'm
All
more
right.
familiar. I study the craft very seriously, and I'm serious about real estate and educate people about buying houses, being home ownership, whether
Mm,
you invest, be an investor, buy some land, look what they're doing with the property. You can
all
come together
right.
and then purchase property and buy some land, come together and build generational Wealth.
Great. Now, where do we find you? Are you on Twitter, Facebook?
Yeah,
Just say it all.
you know, funny thing about it, they got rid of my Facebook and my Instagram about 2 months ago, and I had to get a new page on Hip Hop Real Estate, the nonprofit. And then the HHRE Group is on Instagram. Facebook is my name. You can Google my name. Or you can go on my website, hhrehomes.com,
Okay.
where you can see all the properties and where I'm actually licensed at. A licensed realtor at that.
Good. All right. That's what I'm talking about. We got to find you. All right. Thank you, Carrie, for sharing everything. You was a wonderful guest. I just have to highlight on how you can find the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show and how you can find drmeleekaclary.com on my website, or you can Twitter me, Meleeka Clary Ghosh, or Meleeka Clary Ghosh on Facebook, or Google me, Dr. Meleeka Clary or Meleeka Clary. Please follow the Three Corners of Deception
It's
movie
on
that's
Brave
hopefully
TV.
comes out. Oh, you know that's right. On Bold and Brave TV. So please follow. And I'm so glad, people. I hope you got out a lot of information, and I hope everything that Carrie shared with you, and that you could take it with you. And I appreciate everybody tuning in to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Thank you, my friends.
You've been watching the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Tune in next week as Dr. Meleeka will help you shift towards a better life. But this show doesn't stop there. She'll provide helpful tips regarding surviving the entertainment industry and the judicial system with practical information. Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern, here on the Bold Brave TV network.